I rank all the restaurants that are included in your Royal Caribbean cruise. Today, I'm going through every single one from top to bottom, favorite to worst, to share with you my rankings of Royal Caribbean's included restaurants up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. I gotta admit, ranking restaurants is actually much more difficult than it sounds. I mean, you might have a favorite, but how do you figure out whether or not 6 or 7 is better than 8 or 9, and so forth and so on? But I think it's also a really fun activity because it's kind of interesting to be able to see which ones really come out on top. And I decided to sit down with all of the included restaurants across Royal Caribbean's fleet, and including the new restaurants that are on Icon of the Seas, because these new restaurant concepts really surprised me in where I ended up ranking them, because I wasn't sure exactly how they would really stack up when I started thinking about, okay, is it better than this restaurant or the other one? And so I have my list of the rankings, and I'm curious if you agree with them. And number 1 may be a shock to you, but my number 1 included restaurant in Royal Caribbean right now is the Aquadome Market. Available only on Icon of the Seas, the Aquadome Market is Royal Caribbean's first food hall concept, and it is a home run. I love this idea. Essentially, there are a number of different food stalls you can go to, and within each food stall is a specific cuisine. There are salads, there's Asian food, there is Greek Mediterranean food, there are crepes, and I love the fact that it is specialized like this, and it's all made fresh for you. So unlike, say, the Windjammer, which we'll talk about in a little bit, where you just have a vat of food, this is made and customized just the way you want it. And between the fact that you have different cuisines that didn't exist before or weren't readily available all the time before, and the fact that it's prepared for you fresh, I just couldn't help but come back here every time I wanted a snack or even a meal, but wanted something really quick and easy. And the Aquadome Market did not disappoint. If there is a problem with the Aquadome Market, it's probably that it's just very popular, and there can be lines, especially the crepe line. My goodness, it seems like the crepe line always is pretty long, but that's a testament to how popular this offering is. Now, I hope that Royal Caribbean offers the Aquadome Market not only on other Icon-class cruise ships in the future, but also other ships within the fleet. I think it's a fabulous concept. I would love for them to expand it even more, maybe offer in-app ordering, because I know some other cruise lines do that with their food hall options. Regardless of all that, I think it's really been an incredible restaurant, and I'm going to put it as number 1 on my list. Number 2 is the venerable stalwart of any Royal Caribbean cruise ship, and that is the main dining room. I am a huge fan of what the main dining room represents, and while it's changed a lot over the years, I still think it is one of the most compelling, if not the best, complimentary restaurant on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship. So the main dining room is open for dinner every night of your cruise, also open for breakfast every morning of your cruise, and it's open for lunch on sea days. What I love about the main dining room, number 1, is the variety of food and the level of service. That combination is really hard to beat, and then you have the absolutely beautiful surroundings. No matter if you're on a Vision class ship, a Quantum class ship, an Icon class ship, the dining room itself is a beautiful venue to be in. But more importantly, of course, is the food, and I like the fact that in dinner time, there's a different dinner menu every night of your cruise. Breakfast is the same. In fact, I would say breakfast might be the weakest of the menus in the sense that it never changes, although, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with, eggs or eggs Benedict or a bagel and lox kind of thing, but I would appreciate more variety there. Regardless of that, I do love the service and the fact that dinner menu changes every night, and there's always going to be hits and misses with any menu on any restaurant, but overall, I think the main dining room is the biggest crowd pleaser out there, and I feel that the combination of the experience and the food makes the main dining room worthy of the number 2 spot. Number 3, very close, is Coastal Kitchen. Coastal Kitchen is the complimentary restaurant if you're a suite guest, available on Oasis, Quantum, and Icon class cruise ships. Coastal Kitchen is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and essentially it's a replacement or an augmentation of the main dining room. Being that it's exclusive for suite guests and also Pinnacle Club members that can get in there as well if there's availability, I think it's such a great option, something different, and it's Royal Caribbean's best offering that's available for suite guests on its newest ships. Having a special restaurant that serves different food than the main dining room, I think really makes Coastal Kitchen stand out from the rest. The food served in Coastal Kitchen is a combination of, as Royal Caribbean says it, Mediterranean and meets California-style food. While I think its lunch menu is the weakest offering, I do really love the dinner menu, and breakfast is very good as well. Examples of the food that you might get at dinner include sea bass ceviche, Napa charcuterie chicken, and salmon dishes, along with stuffed zucchini, and a variety of flatbreads. The only reason I'm ranking the main dining room ahead of Coastal Kitchen is simply because the main dining room is a little bit more accessible. But if you're staying in a suite, by far you should be going to Coastal Kitchen for your meals instead of the main dining room. Coming up at number 4 is the Windjammer Buffet, and I love the variety of food. This is what makes the Windjammer stand out. And when it comes to the Windjammer, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, the sheer variety of food truly makes the Windjammer worthy of being in this spot. So, not everything in the Windjammer is the best food you've ever eaten in your life, but there's probably enough food here across the entire spectrum of the Windjammer that you're going to find something that you do enjoy, and that's why I always like going here. Number 1, if you have picky eaters, children, adults, doesn't matter, this is a great spot for you because you're going to find at least something for everybody. It's something where that no matter how old my kids were or whom I'm cruising with, we can find something in here. Gluten-free, vegetarian, chicken fingers, steaks. I mean, you can find all these items here, and I love the fact that at dinner time, this is really where the Windjammer truly shines, having the cooking stations out there, whether it is a pasta station or a Mongolian grill or ramen soup. I really appreciate that these offerings are there, and this is only found in the Windjammer. In addition, in the morning, the custom omelet station is like the most popular place you're going to find within the Windjammer, and for good reason. Being able to make your eggs just the way you want it, and included, really makes the Windjammer stand out. Now, I get that not all the food in the Windjammer is a home run, and this may be why it doesn't rank higher in my list, but for its crowd-pleasing abilities, for the sheer variety of food, and the cooking stations, I think the Windjammer is worthy of being at number 4. Number 5, I struggled with number 5 and number 6 on this list, but I'm putting number 5, El Loco Fresh. El Loco Fresh is the Mexican restaurant that's available on the pool deck on some Royal Caribbean cruise ships. And maybe because I'm a sucker for Mexican food, I put El Loco Fresh here because while the menu is not truly expansive, it really has the most important things, like tacos. How can you go wrong with tacos after all? And El Loco Fresh has tacos, burritos, quesadillas, and you get to customize it just the way you want it. And that really, I think, gives El Loco Fresh just the edge because its core menu is what most people are looking for. They want to grab their quesadilla, tacos, chips, and then go over to the topping station and customize it exactly the way they like it. And there's just something so satisfying about a great taco, making a rice bowl for yourself, having a burrito. Every time I go to Loco Fresh, I never walk away disappointed and always full. So I think El Loco Fresh might be one of the more underrated yet really strong complimentary restaurants on any Royal Caribbean ship. Coming in next is Salarium Beastro. Salarium Beastro is probably the Royal Caribbean restaurant you've never heard of or least heard of. It doesn't get nearly enough recognition, but it is a hidden gem within Royal Caribbean's fleet. Salarium Beastro is available on some of the newer Royal Caribbean cruise ships, and it's hard to exactly describe it because it's kind of just more of a generic restaurant. But trust me, if your ship has Salarium Beastro, do yourself a favor, go there for your meals. Number 1, for breakfast, it's very underrated. Most people don't even know it's open for breakfast, and it's actually a great alternative, a much less crowded alternative to the Windjammer. They'll offer a lot of your favorites for breakfast and an omelet station here, and it's far less crowded, great views, absolutely love this. And if it's open for lunch or dinner, man, this is such a great spot to go to because it's included in your cruise fare, and Salarium Beastro offers a little bit different cuisines. Royal Caribbean kind of describes Salarium Beastro as being a healthier alternative. I'm not sure how much truth there is in that. I'm just going to simply say that there's different foods in here, whether it's Mediterranean foods, tapas, and of course, great entrees. I just think Salarium Beastro is such an underrated restaurant because it just doesn't stand out from the pack that much, and because it's usually located like in the solarium, as the name implies, and it's kind of on a higher deck away from everything else that's happening, and because the pool deck is kind of quiet at night, a lot of people just simply overlook this restaurant completely. On some ships, especially some of the newer Oasis class ships, because this is in the solarium, it can be easily overlooked. The entrance is within the adult-only area, although, by the way, all guests can eat in here. You can bring your kids in Salarium Beastro. It just doesn't register on their radars. Anyway, Salarium Beastro, one of the top spots on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship. Coming in next on my list is the Grove, which is available for suite guests only on Icon of the Seas on the suite sun deck. And it's a fast, casual Mediterranean menu that serves little quick grab-and-go casual options. Essentially, it's a buffet for suite guests. And this brand new dining option is located steps away from the private pool. The idea here is that you never have to leave the sun deck when you're enjoying a great day out there and you want to have something to eat because it's, around lunchtime or whatever, and you want something to tide you over without having to take your bathing suit off or certainly put on other clothes. Suffice to say, it's not going to beat out Coastal Kitchen because Coastal Kitchen, of course, is a full restaurant, and I think the Windjammer's variety is still better than the Grove, although I do appreciate that the Grove has some more interesting items. There were some great pretzel bites that I really enjoyed when I was on there. Regardless of all that, I still like what the Grove has to offer, and I think it's one of the better options, and I think it'll evolve over time. I think being that it's the first iteration on Icon, if I don't know anything about Royal Caribbean, they tend to iterate this, upgrade it, learn, evolve. Anyway, I think over the years, this might move up on my list, but for right now, I think it's a solid bet right where it is on the list. We're going to stick with Icon of the Seas for number 8, and that is Surfside Eery. Surfside Eery is the family buffet on Icon of the Seas. And I say family because it's really meant for kids, right? That being said, I don't care who you are, mac and cheese, hot dogs, quesadillas, we can eat that every day, and it's readily available, easy, and I just love readily available food and good variety. Not to mention that Royal Caribbean also recognizes that adults want to eat here too. So there's a lot of comfort food that you can indulge in as well as an adult. And I think that's really what makes Surfside Eery stand out. Of course, part of the appeal of Surfside Eery is that it's located within the Surfside neighborhood, so that way families don't have to go very far. And if you're basically saying to yourself, well, I don't have any kids, so why would I ever go here? I think you're missing out on a nice option. It's not as large as the Windjammer, but there's still plenty to keep everybody, I think, happy. And the fact that it leans heavily into comfort food, I just don't think people are going to walk away saying, I couldn't find anything I wanted to eat over there, which, in my opinion, is a good sign of a restaurant. Next up on the list is going to be Pearl Cafe. Pearl Cafe, again, on Icon of the Seas. I didn't necessarily mean for this to be 3 Icon restaurants in a row, but for good reason. Pearl Cafe is a replacement for Cafe Promenade, if you will. And what I love about Pearl Cafe, and the reason why it is higher than Cafe Promenade, is that it improves a number of options. Number one, it offers grab-and-go food 24 hours a day. So if you're ever in the mood for a quick snack, I love the fact there are prepackaged food items that you can get to bring and enjoy elsewhere on the ship. This is so helpful when you want to have food back in your cabin. One of our tips is always to bring, prepackaged snacks with you on board a cruise ship. And I'm not sure we'll get rid of that tip yet, but it's really nice. There are alternatives you can get at Pearl Cafe. And then, of course, you have the great food they offer, especially for breakfast at Pearl Cafe. There's muffins, there's wraps, and there's, of course, great desserts here. Usually, you can find something that's really good to go with your morning cup of coffee. And, of course, there's the coffee, which is hard to go wrong with. There's both complimentary coffee, as well as coffee that does cost extra if you have a drink package, or you have a diamond voucher. You can use that here, and that's included. But truly, the food at Pearl Cafe and the addition of the snacks, and then, of course, the venue itself is just beautiful because you have the great views outside. I'm a big fan of Pearl Cafe. I think it's a huge upgrade from Cafe Promenade, and so it's worthy being at number 9 on our list. Number 10, I'm going to combine 2 and 1 if that's okay. That's Park Cafe and Cafe at 270. I think they're mostly the same basic concept. Essentially, Park Cafe is a quick, casual, grab-and-go type restaurant available on Royal Caribbean's Oasis class. On the Quantum class ships, it's Cafe 270. And on the Vision and Radiance class ships, it's usually in the Salarium. It has wraps and bagels available in the morning and has salads and sandwiches in the afternoon. And on some ships like the Radiance and Vision class ships, it offers pizza late night. Similar to a Loco Fresh, I think what it does with its menu options is really good. I like having the custom bagel bar. I like the fact that there is the Kemmel roast beef sandwich, which is available in the afternoon and evening. And my goodness, this is such a great option. This is a healthy serving of roast beef on a bun with some mustard. Au jus, it's so good. You got to try it because it is a staple on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship available out there. And again, not a huge menu, but it does well what it offers for you. It's our go-to place when we have a shore excursion and we need to get something to eat before we leave the ship. We don't go up to the Windjammer because there's just too much going on up there. It's a lot faster. Also, Park Cafe is a great, underrated embarkation day lunch spot because it's far less crowded than the Windjammer. Still offers some really good food. It'll get you on your way. Number 11 on the list is Sorrento. Sorrento's Pizza, sometimes also combined in with the Cafe Promenade on some Royal Caribbean cruise ships, is of course, the pizza place that you're going to find on board. And Sorrento's Pizza, it's not going to wow you as somebody who grew up in Connecticut and went to college in New York, and so that's the greatest pizza on earth. I'm here to tell you that it's not going to be anywhere near there, but the pizza at Sorrento's is certainly good enough, and if you've had a couple of drinks in the evening, it tastes even better. But regardless of that, it's pizza. It's hard to go wrong with pizza, and while it may not be the best pizza you've ever eaten on Earth, it's certainly good enough. And for snacking, I think it's worthy of being at this spot on the list. Coming in after Sorrento's is Cafe Promenade. Cafe Promenade slipped a lot in my mind. I don't think the menu of food is as good as it used to be. Maybe this is just me being an old disgruntled cruiser, but I feel like it just was the better options back in the day. And I say back in the day, 3 or 4 years ago. It feels like a lot of the menu options really don't change as much as I remember it. But at the end of the day, if you want a sandwich, you want to get a little dessert, a little snack along with your coffee, this is a good spot for it. I think actually the reason why Cafe Promenade still holds a spot is for the coffee options that are there, because Cafe Promenade offers, of course, complimentary coffee, as well as sandwiches and snacks. It does offer expanded hours, which is really nice. And I'm going to lump Cafe Promenade and Cafe Latitudes. If you're on a smaller, older ship, it's called Cafe Latitudes. On newer ships, it's Cafe Promenade. But I really like the fact that you have, of course, the coffee options there, which, by the way, you can get Starbucks-style drinks at Cafe Promenade or Cafe Latitudes, like macchiatos and lattes. Those do cost extra, but if you have a drink package, those work here as well. Unlike, say, Pearl Cafe, I still think the food options are quite as compelling, and so it would slip down to this point in the list. Coming up next, I'm going to lump two more restaurants together, Mini Bites and Base Camp. Mini Bites is available on some of the Oasis-class ships, and Base Camp is available on Icon of the Seas. Both restaurants offer quick, casual, grab-and-go food. Base Camp offers a mix of food that does cost extra, as well as food that is included in your cruise fare. Mini Bites is all included, but overall, I'm not impressed with either of them. I think they're good for when you're in the neighborhood, meaning you're walking around the ship, you're thinking to yourself, boy, I'm kind of hungry right now. Oh, look, there's Mini Bites. Oh, look, there's Base Camp. Let me get something to eat. I don't think anybody ever is on deck 4 and think to themselves, you know what I really want to do? Let's go up to Mini Bites or Base Camp and get something to eat over there. I think it's just the menu is lacking in terms of being compelling enough that you really want to go up there specifically for it. But if you are nearby, hey, it's hard to go wrong with grabbing, a burger at Mini Bites or pretzel bites over at Base Camp, because at the end of the day, it just offers something there. The reason why it's ahead of the other items on our list is simply because it has a little more variety, and I do value variety over maybe some of the food options you might find elsewhere on this list. Coming up next is the Surfside Bites. Surfside Bites is a really quick grab-and-go food option within Surfside on Icon of the Seas. So Surfside Bites offers a very limited menu. It's got churros, it's got hot dogs, it's got burgers. It's very basic stuff. It's really meant for I think you're in Surfside, your kids are having a great time, splashing around the pool, they need something to eat, they're picky, and even going into Surfside Eery, which has a lot more variety, is too much, so they don't want to leave. The appeal here truly is that you can walk right up, grab something, and be on your way. And you're not going to be wowed by the food, you're not going to be wowed by the variety of food, but hey, it is there, and I think for families, it works out well. Or hey, maybe you're in the mood for a churro, they have that here as well. For my last two restaurants, I debated this one almost as much as the first two. Coming in next is the Dogghouse, and the Boardwalk Dogghouse, or the Dogghouse, depending on what ship you're on, is the hot dog stand available on board. It's a one-trick pony. It offers hot dogs to enjoy, and I like hot dogs, but I think the problem with the Dogghouse, number one, is that the buns are like rocks. Number two, the sauerkraut's always a little funky. I don't know what's with the sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut, but this one's a little weird for my taste. And also, the variety of hot dogs is more than just a beef hot dog, but none of it really ever excites me. I always have one. I'm like, okay, I had it, and it's all I ever need. It's never a place I ever go back again and again. Again, going way back up on the list, a Loco Fresh, I can eat there every single day. SOS Pizza, I can eat every single day. Dogghouse, maybe one a cruise, and more often than not, I kind of skip the entire sailing. I appreciate there are hot dogs, nothing wrong with a great hot dog, but I don't think the hot dog is great at Dogghouse. It's certainly good enough, and usually I reserve it for a sea day. I'm on the pool deck, and I'm like, you know what? Let's get a hot dog with some mustard on it, and it's not too bad. And the last restaurant on our list is going to be Fish and Chips, available on Ovation of the Seas and Independence of the Seas. Depending on the sailing, sometimes Fish and Chips is included, sometimes it costs extra, so I just put it down here at the bottom for that reason. Also, because fried seafood doesn't really do much for me personally, I get that, and I don't think people that love seafood will admit that it's one of their top restaurants anyway. But hey, it's here, it's available, so I'm putting it down here with the Dogghouse. You can flip them around however you want to see it. I don't think it really matters all that much. There you have it, a look at all the included restaurants on a Royal Caribbean cruise and how I would rank each one of them. I'm being very nitpicky about this, by the way. Most of these are fantastic, and I wouldn't hesitate to eat at any of them. And the great thing is they're included, so you can enjoy them as much as you'd like during your sailing. Don't overlook these restaurants. try them out, and then let me know in the comments below, how would you rank? What are your top 3 or 5 restaurants? Did I miss any on the list? And were there any real, like, I can't believe Matt put that over there on the list? Let me know your thoughts on my list in the comments below. While you're below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We'll talk again real soon.